Okay, so
That's a nice answer.
yeah,
Actually, we should be you. Justyna should be on the program.
we we don't have even a moderator, so we can do a decentralized
Yeah, so actually, I mean, first of all, when we talk about, what we should talk about, so it's decentralized Internet of Things, IoT, and yeah, maybe I could.
I think we should introduce it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so my name is Andrea Bauer, and I work as a business strategist since many years in the technology scene and work with telecommunication companies a lot, where the Internet of Things topic actually was discussed for a long time with RFID or with SIM cards, MSID. And now I also do a conversation platform, a think tank or PA, where we more reflect on the digitalization of our society. I think this is also why you invited me to maybe give you more a media perspective on the decentralization of the Internet.
So, I'm Fabio Antonelli. I work in a research center in Italy called Createnet, and I work with a unit that works on Internet of Things project mainly. And so we work mainly on trying to understand and hopefully solve challenges posed by IoT. We are also we were here the last 2 days because the agile project was presented before. So my focus is more on a technological point of view because we work more on enabling technology for the Internet of Things, and for sure decentralized approaches and technologies that can help in developing IoT solutions are one of the main interests here. So this is more or less the background. So I'm more on the technological side of Andrea and provide this.
Yeah, who's gonna do?
Let's see.
Let's see. You better do it. Yeah, decentralized.
So we just to prepare the channel, we have shared some topics that we wanted to discuss. The first question that we were discussing, why decentralizing or better centralized versus decentralized IT means, and why we should go towards decentralization.
And I thought it was an interesting point, what you just had with the identity, and the question, should I be able to change my identity, actually? And because I was just thinking, actually, an identity is always kind of related to a system, actually. So, then I have an identity in Facebook, and I have an identity in all the nation state, so they're different identities, first of all. So when we talk about the Internet of Things, it's a question, where is the data saved, actually, within this kind of networks? In this net of the Internet of Things. And so far we talked actually about, when we talk about Internet of Things, we will centralized system. So cloud-based data mining, as we know, so everything, with the old server clients, narrative, notion of it. And but what I see when I know when you talk about decentralized, the term is much around, but I have the feeling also with blockchain, it's actually more, people have the feeling it's more a distributed network actually. Because the narrative of the peer-to-peer communication is more present, and but when we talk about decentralized, there's always still a kind of a data saving center, which is then again distributed, especially when we talk about systems like housing, where we have an internet of things in a house, and it's more than the question, is it an internet of someone else's things? So it's always the question still, where is the data saved? and when you have
Yeah,
some
so I think we have different challenges. One is for data. I would start first from the aspect of centralized versus decentralized from an architectural point of view. I think that IoT, from a certain perspective, is by its nature decentralized because what is IoT at the end? We must focus on the objects and devices that get connected and smart and can interact with us. And when this object becomes really part of the internet of this, when this object acquires a digital identity, so it's something that can be seen or we can interact with it also on the web and so on. And we cannot expect that every object is centrally created, described, and managed in the beginning because also the nature of the distributed way in which objects are produced and so on. And so, inherently, IoT from the device perspective has to be a decentralized, as a decentralized network. The objects are created, become smart, become connected, they present themselves on the virtual world on that point on the while if currently we go to the market and talk about Internet of Things, the main challenges are scalability in the cloud, and this is why it's happened. So from the cloud, you cannot centrally manage, or you can try to manage, but the real challenge is how to cope with a growing number of objects that are out there. And so this is the first evident point that the only decentralized architecture are not the best solution. Then there are other elements that push for having a decentralized approach. One is data management. Also, why currently solutions not only the university but there are in the web big chance on centralized solution to force control on the data on the data. So the real challenge here is for me to, since the data generated by the device is a source point, we need to find a way to give the power on data back to the user. And this is the main challenge that we can approach and solve using a decentralized approach. So the data that especially is generated on the device are locally generated, and if the user has the capability to decide if this data has not to be shared from locally or shared, but only with whom he wants, etc., this is the real benefit of having a decentralized approach to it.
And I think I would add on that, especially when we talk about blockchain, we talk more about autonomous devices, because the device is actually what is the underlying narrative, and this is why we're trying to define blockchain for IoT, is that you can make the device more smarter, more autonomous. And my question is here also is, more where we want to go to, because first of all, of course, technically we're talking about or autonomous network of autonomous devices. But what does that mean? What is this root system, this underlying narrative what we want to talk about? Because especially when we know that there are like many blockchains that are coming up, like really many narratives, and how do these devices then interact? And also, can we kind of have let's say, a device democracy? Can we establish that? And for that, talking about the underlying narrative, it's more the question of why do we want to have an internet of things, first of all? I think we have to ask this question. I mean, we all want to have a more safe, secure, and stable technological future, or life, better to say, and technology should help us. And but at the same time, you have to take care of that with the Internet of Things, that we don't run into a totalitarian subscription business model situation with total surveillance with devices all around us and permanent advertising, like from every corner. Because this can happen, with a super smart surroundings question of what do we do. And I think what really I'm curious about is this also to apply, the topic which is also discussed here, the Agora law, also in this room, the open source circular economy, because this is actually one of their biggest problems to how do we, really create a circular economy. We need all this data, and we need to know where's the input, where's the output, to use that output here as an input, and to really to make it like zero waste, or zero waste economy. And that we need all this information, and I think, asking the question, so for instance, how can we, by blockchain, creating an internet of autonomous things, is it possible to create such an open source circular economy? Maybe you can think of that. Yeah, but probably tons of examples.
But I think that when we talk about blockchain, it's a technology that mainly that is a distributed technology, of course, but the main advantage that it offers to the IT domain is that allows to work in a faster environment, and this means that we can delegate our smart objects to interact with each other without the need of having the intervention of the humans in every transaction that they do. So let's do an example. We are live. It's logic. So if you want to rent your apartment, you can do it, and the user can access directly the door without the intervention of anyone. So the technology behind it allows the trust on the transaction done. Or there are other examples. For example, IBM has also done some nice projects and use cases like autonomous washing machines that can automatically buy recharge for stove and stuff like that without the need that I have to intervene and say, hey, I go to Amazon, I buy everything and so on, simply because this transaction happens on the trusted infrastructure that allows my device to buy directly. So blockchain can enable this autonomous device coordination, and I think that the benefit from a user point of view is that for basic or routinary activities, we can avoid to be in the loop with our device, and this is more a human perspective, but this means that also from a business perspective, this changes a lot the business models, because we obviously not having the third entity that has to control this transaction, also the business model, and the developer trying to operate. So this is also why this idea of making the circular economy
Very challenging. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think there are a lot of challenges in this. Talking about the business models, for instance, because right now we have this like subscription-based business models, and also the connection because we have one center or where the data is collected. I think this is definitely going to be a big challenge. How do make it also economically sustainable? Because this is not really an answer yet. And I think identity and kind of managing the identity and who's the owner of identity going to play a big role in this development of this new sort of
yes, exactly. Linking with the private panel, we have also the topic of identity management, not only in physical but also devices. Because if you want to delegate our objects to the app. Mass, these devices have to be trusted identity that can be recognized, and also the relationship among the digital identity of people and this objects of ownership or simply renting, stuff like that should be clearly based on existed on a shared and trusted identity system that goes from the people to the objects. So this is also a point. So currently we have many building blocks at the logical level that can help on this blockchain. Is one of the most interesting that arises in attention and contracts and so on. But there are still many technical solutions and challenges that have to be solved. So how to address this digital identities devices, how to really enable this automatic interaction among autonomous interaction objects, and again, what we already said, the data sharing
I was just
aspect is
wondering,
very
could you just do maybe some research on that, also on
yes.
blockchain
Yes.
at your institute?
In reality, we are trying to.
You met today in person, right?
Yes. So for us, we are still not really. We have not yet a specific project on blockchain, but this is something that we are starting to discuss with some guys, Fabio, etc. And we are in the process of working on that. And one of the ideas that we have is also the willingness to build some platform, decentralized platform that on top of blockchain and peer-to-peer technology can offer some services in the identity domain, peer-to-peer device coordination, data management, and so on. Services that can be reused easily to the real business services. And this is something that I think technologically will happen in a second because there are already many services and solutions for the market.
Did you also do some research on design principles? I was just wondering, design principles, in the sense of starting with the information architecture or with the net architecture until to a service, because there are different kind of design principles you can kind of state to always give a kind of an answer to what do we think about identity, what do we think about privacy.
So in the Agile project, for example, we are focusing on the aspect of data sharing, and that is this topic that we proceed from an identity management point of view, how to track the distribution and the sharing of the data, how to allow the user to control locally the data from the edge to cloud, etc. So we are working on some.
So you also going for the open source.
And of course, the Agile project is totally open source and open hardware because on the hardware modularity, but everything addressing openness.
Yeah, because I think it's interesting. I was just today I was thinking about that Jeremy wrote this book about what's it called again? The zero margin society.
Zero margin cost.
Thank you. And in the end, he is in this book. Most of you probably know it. That IoT is kind of becoming the general commons in the end for the basic needs what we need as a society, which is like communication. It is management of resources and logistics. And that we are kind of now in an open source way, we build up a technological infrastructure which is grounded on almost zero margin costs. And this is our commons in the end, what we are going to manage. And this is then the Internet of Things. to say it like that. He did not think about, he spoke about blockchain as I remember, but I think it's an interesting aspect on that, because it probably would push this thought a little bit further, in the sense that it's, I was more thinking about that you can already kind of liquidate the input that you have into the physical world actually. And then it's interesting on what kind of commons do we manage then, and how much part are we self of this kind of commons. And but maybe I go too far right now. Sorry. Sometimes I'm getting crazy and things a little bit better. But maybe you have some questions too.
If someone has some questions,
Yeah. Or have some
make it
crazy thoughts on identity.
So I'm one of the people that are quite critical of IoT of Internet of Things.
We know that advocating it. We are.
Yeah. So I'm sort of scared that it will be privacy invasive, and how you already pointed it out. You know that I don't know, with advertising and all surveillance and all these issues.
Yeah.
And it would be interesting to hear from you who are dealing with this now for a while. Where are we right now? Like, do we have a chance to go the good path, or is everything lost already? What are the necessary things to get a good Internet of Things? What gives you hope? Because you know the Internet itself, it was promoted as something really positive, but we ended up with data silos and centralized big services.
I would want to take a question, because I totally understand what you mean. You know, it's this regarding the timing, we are absolutely in the beginning of this. And discussing this topic, also just lately at the Republican actually, I led a panel on blockchain governance, and also there was a question. So where is it leading to? I mean, like the nation states like now running on blockchain technology, what does that mean? And there was also the question of good and evil and stuff. And also really getting super tired about the answer that most people say that yeah, it's just technology. So it's like you cannot say it's like good or bad, it's neutral. And I said it's either good or bad, but it's also not neutral. Because you put, this is what I mean here, you put your narrative into the data and into the algorithm in the end. You're going to say if there is a kind of privacy or if there is not a privacy. You're going to say if it is an advertising business model or if it is a service-driven business model. And by this, you can say this is Kickstarter and this is Facebook. And it's a totally different thing. And so I think we definitely need to be, what we need to find out, I think right now, is for what can we use blockchain and for what can we not use blockchain. So like it's totally no-go to use blockchain, maybe in some cases. It's just, it's free because there's too much risk that it's corrupting our principles as a society on privacy, on whatever it is. And I think we need to be just super honest to ourselves at that moment. And cannot expect that anyone else will decide this stuff for us. And this is also why I totally go for open source, because you need to see what's written in the code in the end. And there needs to be, I think, tons of manifests needs to be written to kind of, understand, so what is what are the effects, on some algorithms on the long run. And I think there are cases where that you can check it out what it doesn't mean on the long run. And did I answer your question, kind of? So it's not a good or bad. This is what I want to say. There's not good or bad. It's like being conscious about what we're doing, and really, it's just a medium, but we have principles where we have to put into this in the usage of the services with blockchain.
Practically, yes, I totally agree that the main challenges of IoT now are security, privacy. So everyone is aware of this. but it's a matter of also history because people start first to see the opportunities, and so everything is grown in a bottom-up way. And yes, when there are security concerns, yes, but let's try first, and then we will solve later. And we are more or less in this phase now. And so it's true that currently the challenges that are on the table are huge, but for sure, discussing about these decentralized approaches, blockchain, etc., is also a way to address part of these challenges. They are not the only one. It's a complexity of time, but hopefully time will also let people to think better to this aspect in order to really benefit from the solution, because also one of the main drivers of adoption is finance.
If I may add, I agree about the open source side that we have over 20 open source projects on the Linux platform, and you can create your own solution. That way, you can make it more as secure as you want. So I think security is a concern of our community. We did a survey, and it's number one. But the good part is that you can start a conversation. Yeah, make it better. So that's all.
What is the organization name?
It's a foundation, so it's all open source, and you can use the projects and the solutions and allow them together to make it better.
Just to segue to the last one, is it good or evil? There's a great question from Aurelia. You heard Paul Aurelia, who's the inventor of electricity, who's also the inventor of electric fusion. Sorry, because every technology contains its own negativity, so I don't know. But around that Internet of Things, I see it as the last dying gasp of kind of everyone's waiting for the fourth industrial revolution. And I'm also very critical about IoT. I think yes, it's the same work, but the thing is, we'll never have a common as long as like Paul Mason writes about this, and this is like have a review of work and actually say we keep arguing about our work week. And IoT is great in automation systems, it's great in systems like pharmaceuticals where you need to trace authenticity. But to have Bluetooth controlled speakers in your house or a fridge that you can just seems like
That's the first thing that I would fridge.
yeah,
Fridge is like, yeah.
it does seem, yes, I'm just wondering, like, me too, I've been sort of researching trends in like 5 years, and you go and say, I is around the corner, and I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, regarding the IoT and this next to both sides, you said, I think earlier that IT was basically driven by consumer needs, and I think I oppose that opinion, because I think IT is something that's actually driven by technology, by people who make something, and then nobody really knows quite well what to make of it yet. And of course, there's like some use cases like automation industry or some things that really they know it's very, very useful. On the other side, we have something like the life service, security, home automation stuff that we talked about in like for years. And they call it the wireless sensor network, and they call it cyber-physical systems, now they're calling it IoT. But there's basically no killer use case yet. I mean,
it's like Microsoft Paul.
Exactly. I mean, it's going in small steps, and there's products that we're using, but we very slowly evolving, but nobody knows what to do with it.
But there's products that you don't know that are being used, so they're putting like sensors and microphones so that it'll call 911.
Yeah, but that's what I mean with like it's slowly evolving. It's like, we have one and there's something that could be useful, but there's nothing like this bam, okay, now we like cell phones. Like, from one year to the other, basically everybody was starting using them.
It's true that maybe sometimes IoT is also defined as a technology problem.
I was technology.
And it's partially true from my point of view. But so there is hype, so we'll see the next year. Really will be the base, hype. But I think that in any case, you may call it different way, machine to machine or embedded system, etc. There are potential applications, especially in the industrial domain, new at the company, and so will be in some way the user side.
I don't believe in it. It's just,
Yeah.
I think
It's forced into
technology is
a
faster
market.
than
Yeah,
people.
And I also, but you know what I have the feeling that since now we are, especially in Western society, we are extremely surrounded by technology. And I think that there is also right now the conscience is coming up. That it's more like it's not just about technology because it's the same technology that we have now. And that we're getting more like more digesting on what we really need and what we are kind of how much technology we really want to have in our personal surroundings and how they really help us. And this is I think also a question that we should more put forward as a personal, as a individual being, first of all. And because I agree, most of the time technology, since I'm working also extremely long, it was RFID or Bluetooth, like all this technology, God knows where he needed for it, and all these terms, and they tried so hard to put it into the market. And we were promoting the topics itself, and these did not take it. Why?
No, but there is used everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's of course it's how you package it, where you put it in the second line. Of course it's going to be used.
Because the things that are now put on the internet, we are not only users of these technologies, but we are producing data. A lot of data. So all of our cars with the eco chips that are in there are producing data while we travel. We stop, we get new gas, etc. The same is true with all TVs. I mean, they're all smart TVs, so some of them we know they do, and others we don't know yet they do. They transmit our usage of media by calling home to something or to whoever, we don't know. Same is true with our smartphones. I mean, we look at a YouTube video, but YouTube knows what we are searching for and what we are looking.
It makes YouTube smarter.
It makes YouTube smarter and maybe richer.
Yeah.
So we are producing data, and with Internet of Things we will produce more data. When does our door open? When do we open the fridge? When do we switch on TV, etc., etc., etc. So, is the data I produce my data? And if it is, how can I control who participates?
But I think that answers the question of the panel, why decentralized IoT?
Also the classification what we posed in the beginning, like centralized, decentralized, and distributed. Because with distributed, it's really like just one point, the whole net. And with decentralized, for the one not, and then a little bit like these kind of stars around. So they are always in the centers, and distributed, like you own it.
So one last question. No, just a comment on what you said about it's my data, because so what I wanted to say is basically yeah, so there's always this question, like if I take a picture of you, right? There's a service where I can look at your face and probably will give me your name, right? But it's my camera. So is this your data or my data? And one thing is to say, yes, so let's agree that this photo is your data, fine. But the problem is if you cannot enforce that people don't have access to it, in the end, it doesn't matter if it's your data. You need some kind of technical means to make sure that this doesn't happen. And so I'm just mentioning this because that's one of the things we want to do as part of Agile. And that's what I'm doing actually. So we want to employ things like new schemes of encryption that let you do, for example, queries on encrypted data. So even if you put your data on the server side, you can still instruct the server to do queries on the data, but the server won't be able to see your data. So you don't have to blindly trust anyone,
So what we're trying to do is to empower users to do those kind of things on the gateway, such that when it leaves the gateway, you can still have a decentralized system, but you have control, like actual control over your data. Not just saying, that's my picture, and then it goes somewhere else, and you just trust that they have the proper enforcement. Now, this is still an ongoing research since, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years, and it has been moving forward a lot. So I'm not a cryptographer, but I would like to basically bring those things into, something that is open source, usable, as part of the gateway. That's what we want to do.
That is actually a very good transition to our next topic. Thank you so much, Andrea and Fabio.